Yeah, what is it like on the Hondas? Like, I mean, you drive that all the time. How's your tree getting? How's your kind of heads up racing getting now with that? Because it seems so weird to me to not let off a button because I'm a simpleton. Yeah. I only have two pedals in my car.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky. Like, at least in the MR2, we got like the slipper on there to help with it. And like when we just went out to World Cup, I've never had to really try to cut a light in that car because I've always been just kind of running our own times. There's no pressure, but I was just on that clutch so hard, heating them up, doing my best to cut a light. I was getting like 0.1 whatevers, but it's tough for sure.
Yeah, it's hard to be consistent on that, like to know what you're going to cut. And especially on that because, like, you don't really bump in. You kind of, like, creep in, so it could almost be, like, a little too shallow, a little too far. You get, like, that's a whole thing to dial in on itself.
Well, what you're doing is you're holding the handbrake super hard, and then you're just gradually coming up on the clutch. So the car is so squatted and loaded already. As soon as you let go of the brake, this thing explodes out of the hole. You know, they really get down. But it is tricky, and I don't run slipper stuff on mine. And Jamie's, we were running it, and we took it off because his foot seems to be better. And all season long, he was cutting lights like nobody's business. And then we got to World Cup. And World Cup was such a tricky track for the front-wheel drives. Everyone was either tire shaking or bogging. So, he had to use the clutch to make it move. But in doing that, it slowed his reaction time down, which kind of put us out. It was an 821 to an 821, but the guys at Sonic just... They were on that tree. They got it. It was sweet.
Yeah, it was another Honda, right?
Yep.
That's rare to see.
Yeah.
Early on in the race is.
Yeah, it was a great race. So we were stoked.
A lot of people don't realize that prep there. It's really good, but it's really weird because it's a mix of radial and slick tire prep. Yeah. They don't just radial prep like one of our races that we're used to running.
Right, and the front wheel drives were wheel hopping really, really bad or bogging to nothing. So it was either hit or miss. So I just told him, try to make it move, and he did his job.
What kind of 60 foots do you see in that thing?
He's gone on 139, but 1400, in that range,
That's pretty solid, and then it all kind of comes in right at the 330.
Yeah, and by the 330, we're shooting for 3.6s. We've kind of been more 3.7, 3.8s, but the 3.6 is the magic for the 7. So that's what we're chasing.
That's why all those Hondas back half all around the domestics. The domestic cars are just like motoring on the back end, and then here comes the Honda. Dude, I wanted to see your back end of that slip so badly because I knew there was so much like about to be poured into that thing. I was like, oh man, here it comes.
It was about to be good, but maybe it's a good thing it didn't, considering it blew the valve cover apart. And it was on one though. I would have really loved to see what it was about to do.
Yeah. It was like 156 at the 8th.
Yeah, 156 4.9 at 156. And the car usually back half's like 43, 44 mile an hour, so.
He's like, bro.
And a little MR2.
Yeah. He's chasing a number, or a mile an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's going to start with a 2.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Which is really freaking cool. I mean, that thing on methanol would be super lethal, too.
Yeah. And I think it's going to go that way.
That's what we're doing next.
Yeah, it kind of needs it. I mean, I deal with IATs, too, on my car, and it's just like, IATs are not just a number to joke about. They are real, and they hurt sometimes.
So are the EGTs, and those are slicey.
I don't look at that. So it doesn't. You don't look, they can't haunt you at night.
We should just unplug that.
Tell Wyatt to cut it out and look at it.
Get rid of all the sensors. I don't need to know.
It was cool when we had no idea.
Exactly. What do you think broke the valve cover? Just pressure?
Yeah, it just was building excessive crankcase pressure. The number 1 cylinder was a little hurt. There was just a little scuffing on the cylinder wall, so some boost was getting around it. And we knew it was building crankcase pressure, so we just freaking took the oil cap off, drilled a hole through it, and put a back pressure sensor in it right at World Cup, and it built about 19 pounds exactly, and that's all a stock K-Series valve cover can hold.
Yeah.
18.9, you're good, and then right at 19, it exploded, and then the pressure dropped off. And
are they rated for? Has anybody tested them?
We just did. Yeah, we did that for you all. You're welcome.
19 psi. Email the company.
Honda. We're gonna need these fixed. They will hold 19 pounds.
I love the comments. They're like, you're building more boost in the crankcase than most people do in their
in the whole
cars,
engine. Yeah.
That is true. I mean, a lot of these V8 guys, like 19 pounds is about all they need.
Yeah. Well, that's what I always think is funny when these guys are like, we're running 50 pounds. I'm like, man, we're doing that in first gear.
Yeah, I leave on like 45.
Yeah, it's like we're turning it down to 60. It's on low boost for this motor.
Yeah, this should be fine.
Well, people always go to me. They're like, you just start ramping it in. I'm like, it's in. Like,
It's in.
There's nothing more to ramp.
yeah, we ramped.
Like it takes the hit, and that's all she's got. I'm just holding on after that.
Yeah.
But again, I'm a simpleton. I just hit second gear and keep driving. Guys, thank you for tuning in to the Bogetti Clips YouTube channel. For the full podcast, check us out on Bogetti Studios YouTube and all your audio platforms. Also, hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any of the new Bogetti clips coming up.